for a few years there, I was literally seeing the worst of the worst in the state, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
I could have possibly skewed some things, but I also, like I said, just worked in normal group homes too, and it was like that as well. But yeah, there are places for the really bad ones, but a lot of those crisis units I've heard don't even exist anymore. So most of these people are just stuck, just raising hell in their apartment complex.
If you took these people to Dave and Buster's one day out of the year, like, oh, it's our holiday thing, would these people get stuck in the machines? Would you go in the room and they're in the vending machine on the inside trying to break back out?
My chain. My chain.
So this guy, he worked with a lot of different families in West Virginia and claims the Whitakers are just the tip of the iceberg. Obviously, this guy has to remain anonymous. He worked for all these companies that hosted these people. You reached out to me and said you had countless stories
Yeah,
about these guys.
yeah, correct. So there's a couple different things that we could get into if you wanted. So I'm not yanking your chain. Basically, now I just work like a blue collar job, listen to podcasts and audiobooks and stuff, and listen to that last, well, not the last one, but the episode you talked about the Whitakers. And previously to working a blue collar job for over 10 years, I worked in the retard industry. And basically my entirety of my 20s I did that, and I'm in West Virginia. That's where it was. And yeah, just giving a little bit of insight, because you guys had some questions and different things like that. You were kind of kicking around with each other, and I lived it for a very long time. And kind of like I said in the initial message, the Whitakers, like, yeah, they are fucked up, but in like every group home I ever worked in, there is someone just as crazy, just as retarded, frankly, or more so in some cases. So there's the whole. I have, like I said, tons of stories about that type of stuff, like working in group homes
For
and things.
anybody getting
And
mad,
then,
by the way, you're even using this word, everyone should know these also are viciously racist people. They have incredibly low IQs and they hate minorities. They hate everybody. So that's who you're
yes,
defending. If you want to defend them, go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. No, that is also very true. There's this image of like anytime you see someone with disabilities like on TV or in a movie, they almost always just have Down syndrome. And like in these programs, almost none of them have Down syndrome, because the Down syndrome ones are like, that's like that's what you want if you actually end up getting a retarded like child or something like that, because they usually rule and don't have like any problems.
Mm-hmm.
But these other ones, they're viciously racist. They are complete deviants. It's a sordid industry, and that's kind of the other part too. If you wanted to get into, it's up to you, obviously. But I towards the end of my stint there, I was on the managerial side of things, so I kind of got to see under the hood of how disgusting that whole part of it is. The millions of dollars made off of all of these retarded people and stuff. So it's kind of whatever you want to do, whatever you want, whatever you're curious
Well,
about.
let's just start
I'm
here. Were you
game.
born and raised in West Virginia? You don't have any sort of accent. I've been to
Yeah,
Morgantown, and there's a pretty thick accent there.
yeah, Morgantown's a few hours away from me, but yeah, born and raised. It's weird here, man. Like I'm in one of the big cities, as big as West Virginia cities can be, and all through school you would have people like me who don't have an accent, and my parents were both from here, the whole thing, and then you're sitting next to a kid who is the most countrified person. It's bizarre. Like I can be like the city I live in, I could go down and be in like I could take film and it would just look like the ghetto in any city. And then I could drive 25 minutes and be at a house like the Whitakers. Like it's bizarre.
But you're very well read. You seem intelligent. You're using big
Oh,
words. You know.
yeah, yeah. Well, no,
So do you
I
feel very
actually,
alone there? I love West Virginia personally. For some reason, I feel very spiritually at home there.
I actually don't. The thing is like I think now it kind of is dependent on if you can get a decent job, but I think West Virginia rules actually. I think it's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
the best kept secret sort of deal because like there's still like I see it on X and stuff. People are like they're like, oh, that's where you're gonna get raped by an incest family there, and I'm like, yeah, just keep saying that because it's super cheap.
Harper's
Everyone,
Ferry, places like that. It's
yeah,
beautiful.
it's extremely beautiful.
Yeah.
And most of the people are super chill. And I mean, if I have a cool wife, we just hang out, do our thing. The quality of life I get to live here, working the job I do, is so much higher than if I had the same job in some bigger city or something. And then I'd probably get stabbed if I
Yeah,
was in one
if
of the
you were
cities too.
like
So
in DC, like commuting and stuff.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you just stay out. And you're a little bit farther. You're past the spooks and everything. You're away from all that, right? You
Yeah, yeah.
all the nonsense. I think it's beautiful, but it doesn't seem to catch on at all. No one. I'm sure eventually you guys are gonna have your own Marfa. I'm not sure in what town, but it's gonna happen. I bet.
Yeah, it will definitely happen. I mean, it's always consistently like the lowest cost of living everywhere, and it's like the stereotypes continue to exist, but eventually people, especially with like work from home jobs and things, people are going to be like, "Wait, I could live like a king if I moved there." But it just kind of depends.
Do you ever run into guys like that? There's that. Have you seen that famous video of that kid? It's in Appalachia, and the kid is like, "I'm the son of King Leonidas, motherfucker.
Oh,
My mother is fucked Odin."
I think I have, but that sounds like that sounds like about 15 dudes I knew in high school. Like I just who would be that guy?
Really into the like the Greek shit and the Roman shit, and talk about like their ancestors and like all the Germanic tribes and stuff. But it's just so funny because they're standing in front of a gas station that no longer even works, and that's all the town had, and that's gone. And they're talking
Yeah.
about it's like what if Ozymandias was standing next to the stone that you were reading in the desert, you know? It's just
Yeah, no,
hilarious.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it's bizarre, man. All these places have been, completely ravaged by fentanyl and everything else. So but yeah, you do actually have this weird, like, you do kind of intelligent people, but then also, yeah, complete retards. Just for also like this is probably a little bit different of an experience than a lot of people had. Like, I won't drop an N bomb on here since you're on the stream. Typically, I would just for effect, I would say this, but I remember distinctly in kindergarten where we were talking about like where we lived, and there were these kids, and they're like, "Yeah, well, I'm not supposed to say it, but I live on Inward Hill," and and what that is that I live about 15 minutes from this place, and as the story goes, they hung a black guy there, and that's what literally everyone to this day will refer to it as that. And like even people who are like, "Oh man, I'm not racist or anything," but where I live up on Inward Hill. Like it's completely insane. But yeah, that
which
was
which was that was the first the Gorillaz wanted that as the album title. The studios said no, we're not going to do it.
yeah, exactly.
Or I
But
guess
yeah,
that
I
no, I'm
was like,
sorry. That was actually called Plastic Beach, but you know the song. Whatever, fuck it, who cares?
yeah, I know, and yeah, I got the reference.
Yeah, yeah.
It, but yeah, no, that was I was like 5 when that happened, so it's like, it's bizarre, dude.
Man, that rules. So yeah, I mean I wish I grew up where you grew up because where I grew up was very similar with the meth and the no money. But where I was, you know what I'm kind of realizing about my folks is like it's this dichotomy with my dad of there's a push and pull between, and this is where you grew up to an extent, I'm sure. There's a push and pull between I'm supposed to be a man of Christ. I'm supposed to be this Christian man who is essentially, I turn the other cheek. I'm very passive. I'm always the bigger man. And And then there's the other guy that's in my dad, which is his DNA, which is the Western man who was scalping Native Americans, shooting people on horseback, bivouacking out in the Comanche country. I mean, it's basically built on blood. It's built on genocide. And that was I think for people, it gives a lot of people purpose to be sort of bathed in the blood, so to speak. But then you give these people the King James version of the Bible, and it teaches them English coming into the 19th century and everything and beyond. And there's just this tension within them where then they just sort of they start to, you know what I'm reading right now? I'm reading Program to Kill by Dave McGowan, which I've never read.
Oh,
and when
brother, that's a great book, dude.
It's incredible. You know what I'm starting to realize now is how good I am at disassociating, and I do it all the time. And I see it. My dad's the king of it. And my dad's done it to the point now where he's in his 60s, but he's not there most of the time. He just sort of, he's there in the flesh. When you're talking to him, he's not listening. When he's talking, he's not. I feel like the day probably feels like 6 or 7 seconds to him because of the disassociate. He's split like an atom right down the middle, severed right down the.
Yeah.
Like
it's like he has DID. Yeah, no, it's a thing.
You know what happened? You know what happened?
Yeah.
All the culture kind of went out of West Texas, where people sort of just became, like in the 90s beyond, they just sort of became boring. They express themselves really with like their consumer decisions. Now you see them, they don't even farm or cowboy, but they drive the big trucks and they're putting money into their truck and wearing the cowboy hat, and none of them can even work with their hands or do anything. And they're fat as shit. So they're boring, fucking boring.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I bet if I plopped you down in the Walmart that's closest to me and the Walmart from where you're originally from, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. It would be exactly the same. Yeah, it'd be.
You wouldn't be able to tell just the accent would be different. Yeah. That's all.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. Real quick side note: you brought Program to Kill. Not to go off on a whole tangent.
No, what's up?
Have you read? Okay, after you read Program to Kill, have you read The Ultimate Evil by Maury Terry?
No, I'm looking it up.
Okay, read that book. Okay. It's about and have you read Chaos by Tom O'Neill?
No, it's on my list.
Okay, so you got to read Chaos by Tom O'Neill, especially if you're reading Program to Kill. Have you read Dave McGowan's other book about strange scenes in Laurel Canyon?
No, I had. So Dave McGowan, I've read. He had like a blog, a website. It still might be running, and I read tons of stuff. I mean, tons of crazy theories on that years ago. So that's the only context I have for this guy. I never have read. I knew about Program to Kill, but I never had bought it.
Bro, okay. So Program to Kill, then Chaos, The Ultimate Evil, Strange Scenes Inside Laurel Canyon, and throw in Eye of the Chicken Hawk, which is a newer one, which Flesh Simulator YouTuber, he did a video on that. That's kind of a condensed version, but it will paint a picture. You'll start to, once you read those books, all of those, you'll start to kind of get a picture of what's probably going on, and it's pretty terrifying.
I've been buying more of those books now because you can just get them on eBay for $3. But I remember like 2016, 2017, 2018, when I'm hearing about stuff like this, I go on Amazon and sometimes these textbooks would be like, it'd be like $350 because it's just out of print.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And there's stuff now you can find on archive.org. Like there's some like pretty obscure JFK assassination books that are like, they're literally like $1,000 on eBay, but they're on archive, so you can
archive
at least access them.
That you can't find streaming anywhere. It kicks ass. But
yeah, exactly.
This is interesting. So how did you come into, if you're so, someone made a funny joke in the Discord last time. I think it might have been Mud Pup, where she said it's so funny to be the Whitakers, where you're the most retarded people in all of West Virginia, and somehow still black people are your servants, which I thought was very funny.
Yeah.
Like they're still wiping the like, but why are you the caretakers for these? Like, why do these people technically have employees? You know what I mean? I guess you're technically working for the state, though, right?
Well, No, not directly. Like, so the way a lot of this stuff's, so there are some nonprofits, a few of them, and they have, they have their own problems and things. I've worked for those small ones before too, but most of these are privately held companies, for profit. And what they do is like, there's these programs that, if you have a retarded kid, right, and they say are too much for you and they get removed from the home, then they can live, or even if it's not even that case, you just don't want them in the house anymore. You can get them on this program. They get set up in an apartment, typically with a roommate, sometimes multiple roommates, and they get a caseworker. They set them up with all of the amenities such as HUD and EBT and all that stuff. But then they get a budget from the state, and it could be $100,000, $200,000, and that's a yearly thing. And what that is they don't get that as a lump sum, but they can get up to that amount in like reimbursements. So what happens is they'll say, okay, we'll staff this guy 24 hours. And the staff who's working there, they are technically billing the state. So they'll, write down their time and say they get the company will get, say $25 an hour, but they'll only pay the employee like $9 an hour. And so they keep the rest of that. And it kind of works in that way. And that's one type of thing. There's also like, the real weird corrupt thing, probably the Whitakers, something like this is probably at play, is where they get that service, but the staff members are the family members, and so they are actually getting paid to live in the same house as their retarded kid. And so they get a check off of it, and the company is making money off that as well. And then you have like group homes where it has like eight different people, different funding sources. Then you have these clients who are stuck in the state hospitals who are like extremely violent, either extremely high functioning, terrifying, like serial killer type of vibe, or extremely low functioning and violent, and they don't necessarily qualify for those programs. So the state will just be like, look, we'll give you straight up $250,000 a year. They're saying this to a company to maintain this person. And they're like, okay, sweet. So they'll put them up in HUD. They don't pay for their house. The company doesn't. They, like I said, they get them on HUD and all that, SSI and all of those things. And then they'll just throw some jack off in there for $10 an hour, and they'll just, just do the math. I mean, they're making a shit ton of money off that. But like how someone like myself gets involved.
Well, hold on. Let's pump the brakes here. Immediately, first of all, there's a lot of money right now in being retarded, and people are finally catching up to the ways of West Virginia. You can make big money on X now, basically tweeting like a Whitaker. You can get big checks coming in. But this stuff makes me think that the reason there are more people like this in West Virginia is because it's encouraged by a group that is going around poisoning the water supply, generating thalidomide babies, putting things in the water silos, possible chemtrails. Is there a higher rate of this stuff happening in West Virginia? And it can't be cured. These people will go out of business, right? This is the kind of money you're talking about. These people could be clearing, big, especially for West Virginia. We're talking mega millions here.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, they have no incentive to stop it whatsoever. And it's also like you have lots. And now, as far as it being a higher population, probably. I don't know. If I were to guess, I'd say probably, just because, probably some of the stereotypes are true. But this underbelly kind of exists in a lot of places. Like, you talk about major money. Now, a company that I will name that I worked for just because they're so huge. I worked for a company called ResCare, and I worked in their group homes. And they're so big, they were publicly traded. And then in like 2010, an asset group called OnX, a Canadian private equity investment management group, bought them and then took them off the NASDAQ, off everything. They rebranded them as Bright Springs. Now they're listed again publicly. But this is like this company, this OnX, they own like Save a Lot and like Fidelity Investment and CC's Pizza and all this different Tropicana in Las Vegas. Like they own a crazy amount of shit, and they also own all the retards. Like
dude, that's
it,
so funny.
it's crazy.
What's the name of the company?
The company was called ResCare, and then they turned into Bright Springs. But the investment company is called OnX, which is ONEX, and they're a Canadian equity firm.
Dude, I need like a whole graph with red strings now, from one drooling guy to like Tropicana.
I know, dude. I know, man. It's crazy. And I'm sure if like, and I've only perused their website, the OnX thing, and they have like, they control like 56 billion or something crazy. But like, I can only imagine they own other retard companies because they just, yeah, I mean, they figured out how much money's in it. It's just like, basically, this is all well, actually, if you want to go all the way back, what this is all a byproduct of is when they closed down the asylums. That's what caused all of this. All these people would normally just be in an asylum. But since, they shut all those down, they're like, we're going to put them in the community. And then all of this came up, and they made a system where people can get insanely wealthy. Like I worked for a lady.
So you're talking about how there's no public services anymore. Like, are there some areas people aren't even picking up trash anymore? There's no garbage men, nothing.
No.
Are any towns running out of water where they have to go to another city to get water?
I mean, not that I know of, but probably. It probably exists. But no, that's not exactly. I kind of lost my train of thought there, to be honest with you.
You knew this lady. I'm sorry.
Oh, the lady I was talking about. Well, that's the old CEO of a company I worked for. The company made, I don't know, probably conservatively 5-6 million a year. She owned it herself. She had about 20 different group homes. I mentioned this person in the message when I first sent it to you, and so she makes this insane amount of money, right? And what she does every year is she takes 20 plus members of her extended family on a Disney cruise that lasts over a week. And this is when I was working in an office, and we crunched the numbers, and it came up to a little bit more than $250,000 that she would spend every year taking her and her extended family to Disney. So she would basically abuse all these retarded people and then celebrate in Disney every year. It's crazy.
I didn't know it was like, not only do they own the things that are making us stupid, they also own the stupid people. They kicked the stupid people out of the mental institutions, which I'm guessing don't exist in West Virginia. I don't know what the case is there.
Well,
income tax is still collected in West Virginia, to my knowledge. You have state income tax, don't you?
Oh, hell yeah.
Isn't it like kind of high, like 6%?
Yeah, it's pretty high.
Yeah, it's pretty high for a place like West Virginia where you're not getting much back.
But they did this in we have 2 state hospitals here, and every state has some state hospitals, but their capacity is pretty low. But it was in the 80s when they went through, and it all stemmed from that crazy Geraldo. You can look it up. It's on YouTube, of when Geraldo went to that asylum, and it was just
yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. So that spawned all these, they're like, we got to close down these asylums. And that place was a hellhole, obviously.
Willowbrook?
Maybe. I think it isn't the Cropsey documentary.
It was in 1972.
That's where it starts, I think. Yeah. And it, okay. And then, but really in the 80s is when they started shutting down all of this, at least around here.
Okay.
And then all these companies started popping up to being like, because, the feds basically are still paying for it, but just in a more discreet way. Because all the abuse and everything and neglect still totally happens. It's just now they're in their own house when they're getting abused instead of in an asylum getting abused. So
right, where there's no cameras.
Yeah, exactly.
Public abuse versus private abuse. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at least they still have their WWE DVDs and stuff now. At least when they're getting abused.
This is actually the only economy besides Walmart supercenters in West Virginia. Am I wrong?
No, well, that's part of it. I mean, that's like, yeah, I mean, because around here, there's so few like job opportunities that most people who, like, in most places, it's like, oh, yeah, I work in, we worked in restaurants, we did this. That's here, there are restaurants, but here, in addition to that, almost every person who's had a few jobs has done a stint in tard farming, as we call it, and that's the whole thing, because it's essentially what you're doing. They're the asset. You're protecting the asset. You're feeding and watering the crop, keeping them alive, and then
Wipe his
tagging out.
ass. So you
Yes,
can wipe a
yes,
guy's ass and clean cum off of his kneecap, like scrape it
yeah,
off, or you can go work in the coal mines, or you can
right,
be a
yeah,
server at a McDonald's inside of a Walmart. Those are your three.
right. Yes, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And just like you said, the cleaning the cum. Real quick, little story.
Okay. How
There was a
long
guy.
were you a tard farmer, by the way? How long was this going on?
Yeah, about a decade. Yeah,
So
it's all said
funny.
and done.
Dude.
Yeah, it's insane. So there was this guy I worked with, this client, and his whole thing was that he would get off on haircuts. Okay, and so what he would do is he would put on like a hair cutting cape and
Mhm.
like jack off with it on and stuff when he was at his house. But he also he had protocol. There were meetings. There were meetings with several professionals around like seriously talking about this, where they had to implement a protocol where he was limited to like one haircut a month, and when he did get his haircut, he wasn't allowed to get his head shaved because he would nut in his pants if he got his head shaved. So yeah, that's a real guy.
He's just vibrating like so much. He's jizzing.
Yeah, I don't know. I was never with him when that actually happened, but like it was a documented thing. So I think it would be like a handsless orgasm sort of deal,
That's
like
amazing.
just just
They're kind of
just
like X-Men, where some of them have these supernatural powers where they can just come on demand.
yeah, that is the whole they really do actually, like the whole like retard strength thing. That's totally real. That's like not bullshit.
Can you
Um
scientifically explain that? Can you go into that Neil deGrasse Tyson style real quick? Or do you not understand it?
yeah,
Is it an ancient voodoo? An
so,
ancient.
so yeah, some things weren't meant to be understood, and I think that's probably one of them. But like, no, I think it's just where they don't, like. For example, there was like a guy. They're just so retarded they can't comprehend. Like they push their bodies to these limits that a normal person wouldn't. They would stop beforehand, but they don't have that, so they go very hard when they and it's just the savagery, I guess, of the whole thing. But I mean, we're talking. There was a guy once who was brought to the group home, and he was transferred from this other facility. And dude, he showed up. It was like a Hannibal Lecter thing. He was like strapped in the back, and we were like, oh, like, and the mask on and shit. We're just like, dude, this is bad. And he was extremely autistic, totally nonverbal. He was probably like 350 pounds. And when he got into the house, the first thing he did was he punched the biggest staff member in the face. And then he went over and took a VHS tape. Okay, took a VHS tape and then just snapped it in half. Like, so if you have any VHS tapes or you look at any, just think about grabbing it and just snapping it in half with your hands. Like, that's insane. Like,
That's
not
ripping a phone book, essentially. That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, exactly. So it's just like shit like that. But then also, like, there was another guy we had to remove the plunger from the bathroom because he would just shove it up his ass every time he went in there.
So
Like,
funny.
I mean, so
Why
so
are they
it's just
so I know they're retards, but why are they so fucking retarded? Do you know what I mean?
dude, I don't. That same guy, he took a frozen corn dog from the freezer, shoved that up his ass. Then there was a time in his room. The only thing that was on his wall was a cutout of an advertisement from a local hospital that had a doctor on it who had like a big bushy mustache, and because that actual picture had been on billboards around town,
Mhm.
and I was like, dude, why is that on your wall? And he just, swear to God, he was like, doctors turned me on. Like, that's what he, and I'm like, okay, dude, all right. Like, let's get you to bed, boy. Like, but yeah, he is crazy, man. That guy was, yeah, insane.
Do you think he actually was
Clearly.
homosexual or just confused?
No, none of them care. There is no like they will any of the like anyone with developmental disabilities that I've encountered, and it's been well over 100. Um, they will do whatever. They will fuck whatever, whoever, does not matter. There's no like oh I identify as this. They will just the anything that they can fuck they will fuck, and if they like it's insane. It's crazy, man.
Okay. So let's pause here. Let's start here. You have a bachelor's? You have a GED?
No, I have a high school diploma.
You
and I do have a degree. Yeah.
You do have a degree. Did you do this to pay for college, or is this something you started doing in high school so you could buy a car? Why
No.
would you want to do this? And was it even was it fun, or was it just hell? And you were stacking money.
It was kind of well, okay. How I got involved with it was I was done with school and I needed just to get a gig, like just to make money. And I had a buddy who started working at a place like this, and he was like, "Dude, it's awesome. You get paid to just like sit and chill and don't do anything." And I'm like, "Okay, that sounds pretty sweet. Let's do it." And honestly, like
you were talking to one of the guys who's retarded that gets taken care of.
Yeah,
dude, it's awesome. You can shove
exactly
corn dogs up your ass. You don't have to do any. You can jack off to a photo of a doctor on your wall.
Yeah, exactly.
You get haircuts. You get to jack off all the time.
Dude, absolutely. And so I was like, okay, I'm in. That sounds awesome. And yeah, really, I think what kept me there for so long was it was extremely it's partially hell, of course, because I mean, but it was so insane. I just found it very interesting and very hilarious, and also simultaneously you could be very lazy for large amounts of time, and everyone was just like doing drugs and stuff, and it was pretty everyone was just like smoking weed out back, and it's like a really so it was a very bizarre environment. But yeah, I think that's what just like kind of kept me around. And then, well, I did work my way up actually, and so I started making more money, and that kept me there longer. And that whole thing is.
Were you making good money tard farming? Like, were you making pretty decent?
At the end, when I actually like made it to the like the office type of environment, yeah, I was doing pretty good, especially for around here. Like, I mean, it just it was pretty good money. Now, as far as like when you're actually in the trenches, doing the tard farming, you don't really make shit. I mean, it was a little bit above minimum wage, but wasn't anything crazy. I mean, it's one of those shitty jobs where you could work as much like overtime if you wanted to do that, but yeah, you didn't start making good money until I got to the office and stuff. But once I got there, it was actually pretty dope, because it was like working in the retard field but no retards around, so it was it was great. And like I would just have to tell people, I'm like, hey man, you got to go clean up that shit. You got to go clean up all that shit that's in that bathroom. Yeah, it's it's just totally insane.
Also, what's up? Go on. Yeah.
So okay, because I made a couple notes of different things just so I wouldn't forget.
Please, I'm glad you prepared.
I did work briefly with the real Rain Man, okay, the guy that Rain Man is based off of. And now I didn't work with him permanently, but I did work a couple shifts. And one thing that they left out of the movie Rain Man is that he keeps jars of his shit and piss under his bed.
Okay, that's awesome.
yeah. That's just a little tidbit. So if anyone ever brings up Rain Man 2, you'd be like, he actually shit and pissed in jars in his closet and under his bed. I have a first-hand account of that happening.
It was even a real story. I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, it's actually the Dustin Hoffman character is technically based on like two different autistic dudes, and one of them who the one gets a lot more credit than the other one. I don't know why, but yeah. Now the actual story of Rain Man is fictitious, but the character of Rain Man is based off of two dudes. But it's crazy, and like the office of that, like every group home has like a Rain Man poster, and it's like they really are all about that there. Um, but yeah, that was a nice little tidbit there.
That's very funny. That's very funny. Um, so first day on the job, are you walking in there and going, "Ah, shit"?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Because I'm guessing it's like you just show up with the yellow gloves on and the mask, and you just. I imagine you just start like mostly they're having hygienical issues, right? They're not getting stuck in trees like cats. You just have to clean them up, right? Hose them down, wipe them off.
Well, it depends on where. Well, they give you 1 week of very shitty training, and they teach you like CPR, and they go over like policies, and then you're just like cut loose, and you're just like, yeah, show up at a group home. Now you say you're like, yeah, they don't get up in trees. Well, there was this one black chick who came through one of these group homes I worked in, and she she was pretty high functioning, and she wanted to like get out of the group home and go back to the state hospital for whatever reason. And so she busted out a second story window, crawled on to the roof, cut herself with the glass, and then put bloody handprints on the house. And then when we had to call the police and everything, when they showed, it was because she wouldn't come down for any of us, but when the cops rolled up, she just calmly like came back inside, walked out, was like, see y'all later, and just got with the cops and just left. We're just like, okay, that's one way to get out of the house, I guess. So like, okay. But yeah, it just really depended.
She
because
was the
like,
Kool-Aid man. She had
yeah, basically.
She Kool-Aid manned it.
Yeah.
Right up. That's so good.
Yeah. But yeah, it really just depends, because sometimes you kind of win the lottery and you get like this client who is like funny and cool and not like a deviant. It's super rare, and because usually when that happens, all the staff in that house just stay there till they die, basically. But yeah, you're pretty much just thrown into the shit, and it's completely wild. Turnover super high, and just yeah. But it was like, something I had never seen before. I'm like, this is perhaps the most interesting and disturbing thing out.
Early on, you must have a big breaking point moment where you say, I can't do this. I haven't gone down this road very far. I don't need the money anymore. I'm out. 3-4 months, I'm out. Were you seeing crazy stuff right out the gate?
Oh yeah. The moment, like when I went there to shadow, there was this one younger guy in this group home who would just like run the house, because the group home was basically filled with like low functioning, like full on retarded people, and then they basically had like a black juvenile delinquent who was like 17 there, and I roll in and he's just punching the house manager in the face just over and over and over. I'm like, okay. And then, I restrained him. This is when I was like like they were like, just go take a look at the house, and I walk in and that's happening. And so I restrained this kid, and then of course the house manager was like, oh, you're like the coolest guy ever. I can't believe it. Like anyone else would run away. Like, you saved me. And so it was, I was in pretty good at that point, because you do, I mean, like I got paid to basically wrestle retarded people. Like it was crazy.
But it sounds like you kind of stayed in because it weirdly gave your life meaning, which may have felt aimless
kind of
at this point. It felt a little aimless, and you go, wow, I'm needed here. This guy, I saved this guy from getting his face turned into soup. I get to be aggressive with minorities. It isn't that bad.
There is a silver lining. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think you're right. Like, I think, probably
not many jobs where you get to put your hands on sick people, like really rough them up. And you can get, if your wife's kind of been a cunt that morning on your way out the door, you can check a couple of them if you want. Like you said, there's no
throw an elbow.
You can abuse them because it's private now. It's behind closed doors. You're not in the mental side. You can just go in there and start throwing punches. Who's going to believe them?
Yeah, exactly. They can't even talk most of the time. So it's, it's like, who's going to believe them? They're not even going to talk. They're not going to tell nobody. Like,
Yeah. If you want to abuse people, go into this line of work. You can do whatever you want. You can treat them like flies you're picking the wings off of. Hold
yeah, no,
magnifying glasses over their hands in the sun. Do whatever you want.
yeah, no, I firmly believe that there are people who probably do that because it's so. I mean, bro, it's so, and this is just the stuff that like I saw and things. I can only imagine the shit that like never bubbled to the top. The stuff that's going on. I mean, there was stuff where like people would take because we would we'd have to fight because when I was on the managerial side, I had to deal with all like the disciplinary stuff, and they were like some 19 or 20-year-old would get a job there. They would take the retarded kid to a house party and like put on Snapchat of them doing like bong rips and like beer bongs and stuff. Like, so it's just constant shit like that. And then, you're just getting a constant stream of shitheads doing the most insane stuff with their retarded people they're supposed to be, taking care of. But they're like, dude, look, we got them wasted. Like, oh my God.
That's awesome. That kicks ass. Is there anything that you think is going on there that's very, very, very dark and nefarious? Are these people being trafficked, you think?
It's very funny that there was one encounter that was very bizarre.
It's funny you
like
say that. And yes.
Because like, okay, so there was this guy that got placement, and we worked with him and stuff, and he was fine. He was a little higher functioning. He wasn't really a problem. Very chill guy. And the woman who had been his guardian, like she had all kinds of like foster kids all the time and all this weird stuff. And he went home with her for like a holiday thing, and he ended up like getting caught molesting like one of the kids who were there, and then she tried to cover it up. And I remember it was a big to do, and it was like me and this other, like, it was actually the psychiatrist at the company. It was like me and her, and we had this meeting with this woman, and the vibes were so bizarre. And for years after that, I would talk with that psychiatrist, and we're like, dude, she's gonna pop up on the news for like trafficking or something. There was just a lot of really bizarre stuff. Like, she was trying to downplay it, trying to make these bizarre excuses, and we're like, like, he was like molesting an 8-year-old boy. Like, what are you even talking? Like, what is happening here? But yeah, so I think in some cases there's definitely some things like that. I mean, the whole industry is disgusting. Like, I mean, as in, like, you should never be able, like, that service should exist, but individuals should not be able to become millionaires from doing that and be, a company should not be able to go in and buy them. It's like, yeah, we sell CC's Pizza and military equipment, and now we own this group home full of retarded people. So it's like, it's very bizarre, but
okay, so yeah, I figured horrible things are happening, but you imagine, what's that quote? You never know what bad luck your worst luck, or you never know what worse luck your bad luck saved you from. That Cormac McCarthy quote.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, maybe these guys, they're getting trafficked, they're getting punches thrown at them, people are locking them in closets. But, it could have been worse, I suppose. They could be with their family who could be abusing them even worse, or actually, I don't know if it gets worse than that. I'm trying to think if it gets worse. I mean, some of these people aren't taken care of. They can't feed themselves right, and they would get infections all over their body immediately, right?
Oh, they would just instantly die. I mean, it's crazy because there's a lot of them who like, yeah, dude. I mean, because you have like a 50-year-old, and they're like, he has the mentality of a 3-month-old. It's like, okay, how's he fucking 50? And it's just because people are spoon feeding him and wiping the shit from his ass.
So truly, the Whitakers are the tip of the iceberg here. What you're describing to me, I'm picturing far worse than them.
It is, yes.
Why are they the celebrities here? Why are they the well-known ones?
It's just because
Why were they the breakout
well,
stars? You know.
well, there's a couple things. So they probably are, weirdly enough, a lot of these retarded people are their own guardians, right? So all these people who are in have these services like that I worked with, they can't like no one can film them. They can't do anything because they say, oh well, it's a HIPAA violation. You can't do that. You can't say their names. You can't do this. So a lot of it like is protected in that way to where you can't expose any of it. And so you have like the Whitakers and you have someone with a gigantic YouTube, the soft white underbelly or whatever. And I mean, that's why they're so huge. I mean, it's just because he found them somehow, like under a rock or something. And was like, this is crazy. And what's so jarring about the Whitakers is, well, most people just aren't exposed to retarded people like that. But it's also like their living environment is so bad. But I mean, like I've seen living environments that are like that with people who get services too. It's just insane. But yeah, just most normal people are not aware of that underneath the surface of like probably everywhere, but I mean especially around here. So yeah, when I saw the Whitakers, it was just kind of like I'm like, man, yeah, this is yeah. What else is new, kid?
Did you ever have to herd them with your like you get in your car and you're chasing them through a field and trying to corral them back into the yard or something?
Yeah, kind of. There were times where there was this one there's this one guy who was like he was a sex offender and he was at like this temporary placement like house that we had, and he escaped. He pulled like a full on like there was like buzzers on the doors and stuff, and he waited till the nurse came in the front and he just slipped out the back, and it was like a full on manhunt for like 10 hours, and it was just like it was crazy. We called 911. We told them, what was going on, and then we saw a cop. Like 3 hours later, we saw a cop parked like at the park, and we're like, "Oh, let's go up to him and like, ask if he's seen the retard, the sex offender that's on the loose." And we go up, and the dude just had YouTube pulled up on his laptop, and we're like, "What the fuck?" And we asked him about it. We're like, "Hey, have you seen?" He's like, "I don't know what you're talking about," and just sped away. And we're like, "Oh, okay." Like, and yeah, so we ended up finding him. He was under a bridge. Unironically,
he was watching like free movies on YouTube.
Yeah, it's exactly what he was doing. Yeah, he's like, dude, I pay for premium, no ads.
That's so funny. So was that guy running away to try and molest a kid? You think? Was he on the lam to molest? Was that the aim? Or?
Probably. He was trying to he had made contact with a family member that was a couple hours away and was trying to get them to come pick him up. And like he had finagled he had convinced some people to give him a phone. Like it was crazy. Like I said, we found him under a bridge, and yeah, he had like a phone and had made contact with people who were going to come get him. Like I don't know if he was really planned that far in ahead of it, but if he had been given the opportunity, like he absolutely would have. Like, dude, it's just like the kid I told you who shoved the corn dog up his ass. He got out, he escaped one night, and he was telling me, we caught him, of course, and when we got him back, he was like, yeah. He was like, he's a man. He's like, I opened this woman's window and she came in and I told her I was going to rape her, and then her husband pulled out a gun and I had to run away. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, yeah, it just constant shit like that, and it just gets swept under the rug. You don't hear about any of that shit. It never makes it to any sort of like news or anything like that. Like, one out of every million times that happens.
The news. I mean, it's like local retarded man wants to molest your child. Like what?
Yes.
What is the news?
It's happened before. There was once where it wasn't on my shift or anything, but I wake up in the news. It was like, man with disability was in a diaper banging on people's doors at 3 a.m. Yeah, and the staff was just passed out asleep, like in the house, probably nodded out or something. But it was yeah, it does happen occasionally. But like I said, most of the time, it never makes it to any sort of news or anything.
Look, tonight at 9, a local retarded man wants to rape your wife.
Yeah, and he will. He totally will. Yeah, or get a haircut from you,
So funny to knock on someone's door and ask if you can rape their wife. That's so
I know. Well, that's
funny. And then to be shocked when the husband pulls out a gun.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's going on in their head. They're like, well, clearly, can I rape you? And they're like, hey, I'm just asking. Like, what's going on?
Who's the you see some of these I'm imagining that they're either very, very thin or very fat. Am I right there in terms of the body?
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly fat.
Is that thyroid
It's
issues or what is it? Are they eating good?
they're eating real good. Yeah.
Really? They're eating nice. What are they eating? What's a tart
Yeah.
diet?
Well, dude, just complete. Okay, there was this one dude who he made some of the craziest shit. So he would get a huge box of instant mashed potatoes, right? Now, when I say eating good, I don't mean like eating like actually good, like, but I mean like eating good as in like high calorie, high volume, like eating. He would get this again, a family sized huge thing of instant mashed potatoes. He would pour it in a big old
So
bowl.
far, all
right?
I've heard is corn dogs and mashed potatoes. Two perfect chef's kiss foods. Yeah.
Oh, just wait, man. This is gonna take a turn.
Please
So
tell me he
gets-
puts candy in the mashed potatoes, like
Dude,
Jolly
almost.
Ranchers.
What he does, he then dumps potted meat into the mashed potatoes and stirs it up to make this like pink slop,
Mhm.
and then he just would eat the whole bowl. But then what he also did is he would take a piece of bread, put peanut butter on it, put a hot dog on it, and then put ketchup and mustard on the hot dog. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? And he was like, man, I used to eat this growing up. And I'm like, oh, all right, man. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff like that. But then there was got me thinking of there was this woman in one, actually the res care place I was telling you about, the publicly traded place. She was hugely fat. She was so obsessed with food that she would, like, you had to watch her because she would, like, if there was food like in the drain, she would like try to eat it. But the most disgusting part, there was rumors that she would try to eat her own shit. And this is like, you can have a conversation with this lady, right? So it wasn't, yeah. So it was, I was like, okay, I don't really see that, you know.
Dude, do you know how fat? You know how much shit you have to eat to get fat? You're already eating something that has no nutrients in it. You've already passed through your body. You've almost absorbed all the nutrients from it. This is unbelievable to me.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so this is gonna blow your mind. So I did catch her. She was attempting. I don't know if she actually had eaten a turd yet, but she was attempting to do it, and because apparently there had been discernible like pieces of corn in her shit, so she saw that and was like, oh, okay, food, awesome. But you're like, okay, well, that's pretty retarded to do. But what she would do, this is the bizarre thinking, is that she wore a glove to get the shit out of the toilet that she was going to eat. So she didn't want to touch it, but she was going to eat it. It was just like unbelievable,
that's so
dude.
Good. Oh, that's so man. Good. Oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah, and so they're all basically like that. And they just get paid off with fast food from their staff. So they eat just like a ton of McDonald's and shit.
I kind of hate myself that I haven't written a sketch like that. Someone that eats shit but is putting on like fancy rich lady gloves and like dabbing their lips with a napkin. Dabbing the piss of shit.
You need to. Yeah, exactly.
A woman like that, what did she smell like and what did she sound like?
She would always what she sounded like was she would always be like, "Oh, hey, buddy," like that's that type of vibe, right?
Okay.
She would also fake if you had her like at the mall or something walking around, because you have to. That's another thing. You have to take you're like ordered to take them out into public, and so you're just like chilling at the mall and like you have this freak with you, and And so, but once she got tired, which was like really quick, she would then fake having a heart attack. She's like, I don't feel too good, buddy. Like, and she would always do it to new staff, and new staff would like flip and like, try to call 911 and stuff. But anyone who was there was like, no, she's not having a heart attack. It's bullshit. Like, but yeah, she was just hugely fat lady with glasses. If you saw her like just like sitting in like a buffet somewhere eating, you wouldn't necessarily, unless like she was eating shit, but you wouldn't necessarily peg her as just being a full-on retard like that. But yeah, she's eating shit, dude.
This is unbelievable. I can't believe it keeps going. And I'm imagining you have papers in front of you that you're organizing and stacking that you haven't even got to. Like, it never ends with these people. These are the cream of the cream, I feel like. The West Virginia Tards. It's the greatest.
Oh, dude. Yeah, it's the best kept secret,
shelf.
man.
This is Keno tarding.
It really is. And one thing, like I said, I pulled up a Google Doc and just made some notes before this call, so it's the points that I remember. But I do have somewhere in my archive of stuff, I have a whole binder of like I would make copies of paperwork sometimes that had like just wild shit on it, like weird artwork that these people would do. Like I have like all kinds of bizarre documents like that. So yeah, I don't have it in front of me, but I do have something like that because it was just completely bizarre shit.
People eating. Did you catch anybody drinking their pee?
I don't think I did. Now that I think about it, I don't know.
Eating their cum.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, all the time, all the time, man, all the time. They would, that would, they would eat their cum all the time. There was one guy who would it was the same guy who'd make the slop with the mashed potatoes and stuff. He was, when I first started working with him, in his bedroom, like, I started to notice that he had boogers wiped over everything in his house. Above his bed, like where he would lay, there was this like rainbow of this arch of boogers above him, and it was basically, if he outstretched his arm, up top is where it started, and just the rotation of the arm, it was just a big semicircle of boogers. And then like across from his toilet where he would like sit there, be taking a shit and picking his nose, there was just like a bunch of boogers right there. So he would just shit, pick his nose and wipe it on there. And it was just, dude, it was everywhere. Like I found like just on the handrail on his steps, just covered in boogers. Like it was insane, dude.
You got anybody throwing shit at the ceiling fans, shit on the walls?
Oh, I mean, not throwing it on the ceiling fan, but yeah, stuff like that, dude. One thing that's
something big in homes of child neglect and child abuse, specifically sexual abuse, as kids will wipe their shit on the walls. That's a telltale sign for CPS if they see something like that.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. No, that happens all the time. Like there's certain types of clients and stuff that, are known as like smearers, and they would just smear shit everywhere.
Smearers?
Yeah. But yeah,
you guys have nicknames for these guys, like it's Left 4 Dead, like it's a boomer, it's a smoker, it's a witch.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, like the smear one. That was a big one. I'm trying to think if there was any other generalized nicknames. I mean, we did call it when we would have to like wrestle with the retarded people.
Mm.
We did call it giving them the business. I worked with this big black dude, and that's what he coined that phrase. He's like, I'm gonna give them the business, and he would just like fuck them up. It was crazy.
Just fucking them up.
Yeah, dude. That guy did some wild shit. But he also like worked at the state hospital and stuff like previously, so he was just like, he was actually a really funny guy. Now he's like head of security for a discount retail chain.
Nice.
So yeah, he's just still busting skulls of retards, but just in a different context, basically.
So funny. It's so funny that your position is to you're basically you're corralling them, you know. You're the I don't know. Have you played Pikmin? It's kind of like that, you know.
Yeah, well, because like the we would call ourselves tard farmers, but the other phrase was retard wrangler. We would call ourselves as well, tard farmer, retard wrangler. It's all you're doing, dude.
But then
It's
you have
just
your heavies too. Like this guy's coming in, putting on shoulder pads and a football helmet. He's tackling. He's throwing retards through the drywall. He's dunking them in the
Dude,
toilet.
that happened. He did that. I was I was going to say that story like when we were just talking about it, but I was like, maybe I'll leave that one out. But no, he straight up did put a guy through drywall once, dude. Like, so yeah, you're dead on. You're dead on. That's
Why
that type
would
of
he
shit.
pick a retard up and throw it through drywall? Like
Dude,
what is the reason? I don't care how. Look, my mother threw me once when I was 4. She said I was being an asshole. And she picked me up. She threw me across the kitchen island. I was holding a box of cereal. I remember the cereal went everywhere, and I was shocked. And I hit the floor and slid into the bedroom door. She picked me up and I was 4. She was at her wit's end. I couldn't imagine picking up a grown retarded man and throwing him through a wall. That's a little wild.
It is, but here's a couple things for it's like, let me provide some context to this. But no, it's basically, I think what you're thinking of is like a nice, sweet, disabled person. That's not at all what the mass majority of this is. It's like, it's the most foul, violent, like people who will, they'll try to stab you. They'll try, like I've had like one guy that we call, actually this guy, we were like, dude, if an apocalypse happened, he'd be king of the wastelands.
Mm-hmm.
He was swinging a shovel at my head once. He was like, fuck you, I'm gonna fucking kill you. So it's like that type of shit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and it's also like one thing that a lot of people don't understand, like I'll see these stories pop up where like someone gets like arrested for, they're like, oh, they're on camera like smacking this retarded person's hand, and I'm like, holy shit, like the stuff I've seen. But most of these people wouldn't last. They would, if your average person was put into one of these group homes like as a staff, they would just like within an hour go buy a gun and come back and shoot everyone and then shoot themselves. Like, it's so like people don't understand how bad, like how intense and how bad some of this stuff is, where it's someone who like is just 100% of the time just shitting, smearing it on their face, smearing it on their walls, smearing it on their floor, and you're making $9 an hour, and it's like clean it up, wagey. Like, clean it up, like literally. So that's I'm not saying that gives a guy a pass to throw him through drywall.
No,
but
sure, I get it. Look, I get it.
Yeah. It's kind
any
of
of them hot? You get any hot ladies?
I plead the fifth. No, there was the only time there was ever anything like that. There was this like the temporary housing place that we had. There was one girl who came through who was like, she was just kind of like, she didn't have any services. It was like they were doing it as a favor for the state or something. And like, she looked pretty normal, I guess you would say. And that's the only, but otherwise, I'm like, okay, she didn't even like, she basically like was like just like some homeless girl who stayed there for a little bit of time. But like, as far as like actual retarded people, no, none of them hot. They all are ones because they're most of them are clearly retarded and deformed in some cases.
I know, but no, like one where it's all crazy, cantankerous, big warts, parasites, barnacles, smell and everything, but then she turns around and somehow it's a 10 out of 10 ass.
I mean, it's fucked up for me to even like agree, but yeah, that did happen once. That I was there was one time where I was there was one time where I was like, that was a pretty good booty, but yeah, she was also a psychotic retard. So what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? I mean, if you cop to that right now, it's over for me and you. I knew you were on the edge though. You have a good lady. Everything's good. You didn't marry one of the
Oh yeah.
tards you farmed. You don't shit where you eat.
No. I got the thing is like I mean like I said I got into the managerial side for the last 4 years or so I was in it, and then I just closed that whole book and was like, okay, I'm done with that industry altogether. It's very corrupt, very gross. But no, my wife's fucking awesome. And actually, like, not to be all whatever, but I think it was on the last episode, the way you were talking about the relationship that you have with your wife, it's very similar to like my situation. So it was like, yeah, they're out there. So, it's good time, not retarded, in a complete, now I just work in a blue collar job with a bunch of guys who will, say slurs and stuff. So that's pretty dope.
So you wanted to even get out of the offices, even though you moved. Was it a moral reason, or did you move?
Yeah, No, it was essentially a moral reason. Like, basically, it got to a point where the people that they were trying, like, I was basically over all the staffing. Like, I managed like 150 people, and I was responsible for putting them in these houses. And the company was starting to get some extremely violent people who had no business being in the community, and I was basically just like, this is going to kill one of our staff, or they're going to kill, like, or rape, or seriously harm like someone in the community. And it's like, I don't even want to be associated with this type of shit. I'm out. And it's like, as gross and like fucked up as being a staff was, these people were just, I mean, they were retarded. They had there was a reason they were acting like that and behaving like that. But like the business side of things was even more disgusting and gross. It just in a completely different way. That just, I mean, I talk about black pilling experience. So yeah, after a few years of that, it was just like, yeah, I'm I'm out. I'm gonna find something else. And like I said, I just listen to podcasts, listen to audiobooks, work my job. Life's good. So, not doing that ever again.
Do you feel like you saved your own soul in some way getting out of this?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it would not have ended well. I don't feel like, I don't know how anyone still, like, I know some guys who are like older than me who started before me, and they're still just like out there tard farming and stuff. And it's like, dude, I don't even know how. Like, I don't know how it is. But yeah,
the chat is asking, is there a place the really violent ones normally would go to?
Yeah, that's a place I worked in for a while. It was a crisis center, is what it basically was, and it was basically either a step down program from a state hospital, like if they were being put in the community, they would come to us, or if they were behaving very badly in their home, they would come to us to get like straightened out. So, and that's where the business and all that stuff. So it's like, for a few years there, I was literally seeing the worst of the worst in the state, So that that could have possibly skewed some things. But I also, like I said, just worked in normal group homes too, and it was like that as well. But yeah, there are places for the really bad ones, but a lot of those crisis units I've heard don't even exist anymore. So most of these people are just stuck, just raising hell in their apartment complex.
If you took these people to Dave and Buster's one day out of the year, like, oh, it's our holiday thing, would these people get stuck in the machines? Would you go in the room and they're in the vending machine on the inside trying to break back out?
Some would, and so it would.
Are they trying
totally
to
like
turn the teddy bears behind the desk into fleshlights and stuff? Like, how far is it?
Yeah, it's like, it's the whole spectrum. You would have like one guy, like luring an old person or a kid, to do something fucked up. You would have someone fucking a teddy bear, but then you would also have,
I want to win the big teddy bear so I can fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then you would just have like 5 or 6 just like playing air hockey, like having a good time. Like so it does, like as bad as a lot of these guys are, there are some that are just like, just your average retarded guy who's just like, I played a video game. Like,
You let them
and
drink
like
alcohol, by the way?
no, no, not with I
No.
mean, you're but
And you don't let them
that being
fuck either.
said,
They can't fuck each other, right?
so no, some of them can. That's what's fucked up. Like the ones, so like half these retarded people are their own guardians. So they can, if they are with it enough and have like an advocate or something, like they can. I mean, not very many of them are fucking, but there are a few cases where they are. There was one older black guy who, for his birthday, he would go to the strip club and throw a few dollars around, and a staff would go with him, and he had like a black kind of ghetto staff member. He was like, man, he's like, every birthday, he's like, I go with him, dude, it's awesome. Like, get him a couple lap dances, and so and then there was also like the corn dog fucker, like his social worker was like, well, we need to find him an appropriate thing to since he's putting all these inappropriate things up his ass. And so they went and bought him a dildo, and they brought back and gave him the dildo, and then he just added it to the arsenal of things he was shoving up his ass. So yeah, some of them are fucking
What else
weirdly
was he
enough.
shoving up his ass?
He tried to shove a shoe up his ass. He shoved a remote up. He shoved a remote up his ass. I mean, essentially anything that was phallic at all, he would try. Oh, we found.
Just shove different shit up your ass.
Yeah, we found like a wooden spoon, like that you would like cook with or whatever. Like that was up his ass. Like just God only, and that's only the stuff that I know of. I mean, I'm sure
up his ass.
No. It was he had a drawer where he kept that dildo that person got him, but it was just like a series of, it was a dildo and then like 4 or 5 household instruments that just had shit on them. Yeah, in his drawer.
He'd pull it out, it's covered in shit, and he'd just leave it.
Yeah. Oh fuck yeah. There was no like, oh, let me wash this up now. Like, yeah.
You
let me
guys
clean
should
this.
needed some sort of chastity belt for his asshole.
Yeah,
with a lock and a key on it,
too.
And he has visitation hours with the toilet when he can take a shit, and you have to be watching him.
I mean that probably work.
Jokes aside, he could kill himself very, very easily. Bleed out.
Yeah.
Shoving weird shit up his ass and it getting stuck. People go to the emergency room all the time for this.
Yeah, and that was the thought process behind like the social worker who got, I mean, like I understand the thought process. They're like, well, we can't be shoving that stuff up his ass, so let's get him at least something that's like supposed to go in your ass, and or not supposed to, but like made to go up your ass, I guess you would say. But yeah, like I said, it didn't matter because he still just shoved everything up his ass still because he was retarded. So it's just, it's, but he was like a pretty unique case. He was, like he was the most deviant one I'd ever worked with. But yeah, God bless him wherever he's at.
Did any die in insane ways, struck by lightning, maybe devoured by a great white shark?
No, not in any insane ways. I mean, some did die. There was one guy who would self-harm really bad. Like he would just beat himself until he was like black and blue. And like then the overnight staff just found he was just like dead in his bed. This kid was like 20 or something, and he was just dead. And like half the staff got like PTSD from that shit, and like it like fucked him up like bad. They were just like, oh yeah, I can like smoke weed at this job, and then they find a corpse. It's like that's not what they probably signed up for.
I'm sorry. Why was he like? Why? I'm trying not to laugh, but why is he like emo and goth and all moody? If he,
oh well,
if
no,
his
that's
IQ,
well, dude.
If his IQ's so low, he has chronic depression and he's intellectually and developmentally disabled. So he's not
No,
even he's not even with it enough to cut his own wrist or hang himself. He just punched himself in the face until he died.
oh yeah. No, and he was pretty low functioning, but no, that was a huge thing with a lot of these guys. And like I don't know what it is. Like I don't, and it wasn't in like they're depressed, so they're self-harming like a normal person would be doing. Like I don't know if it's some like I don't know like eject button that's hardwired into them like the like oh my god like some soul version of sleep paralysis where they're like, I gotta get out of this, so I'm gonna fucking kill myself any way I can because I'm in a retard brain. But like, yeah, that was a big thing. Like guys who would just bash their head into the wall, repeat. I mean, like, just. I mean, yeah, until they died. I mean,
Are
it was
some of
just,
them so violent if they disassociate, they start hurting themselves because they're in a
yeah, oh
vacuum? So
yeah,
they have to hurt
yeah,
something. They might as well hurt themselves. Do you think that's what it is, or do they express that
yeah.
they
No,
want to
there were.
die?
They would never express it like that, but there was. I mean, you would have some guys who were extremely violent to others and not themselves. And then you would have some who were extremely violent to others. And then if they weren't around someone else, then they would just fuck themselves up. But then you would have a subset of these guys who were not violent to their staff or to any random person. And yeah, they would just like, just beat themselves. Like I said, they would beat themselves to death, or they would just like bite chunks out of their arms and stuff like that. Like really grisly shit.
So you never saw one of them jump in front of a car or anything like that, or
No, not on purpose or anything like that. No, there was one older client guy who like I think it probably was like a heart attack or something, but this is like it was so bizarre. He just like it was in the middle of the night. It was in a group home with like 8 people, and like he just got up and just basically started like spinning in circles, like and just like wouldn't stop, and then just died. Yeah, dude, I don't know, man.
Fuck. It's so fucked up. That's what I've seen possums. I've seen a few possums out here do that. They get disoriented in their head. They don't know which direction is which when they're dying, and they're in the middle of the street and they rotate. Like they're chasing their tail until they die.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's like exactly what was happening. Like exactly what was happening, basically.
He spun around a bunch until
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
trying
man.
not to
Yeah,
laugh, but I'm sorry. Fuck. I'm not laughing.
yeah.
I'm not laughing at him. That's just like if you told me that an old retarded guy stood up and he spun thousands of times to kill himself, I'd be like, hey man, I don't know.
Dude,
what am I supposed to do with that information except smile from here?
Yeah, no, it's absurd, dude. Like, but no, that is a real thing that happened at least once that I know of.
This is so horrible.
Yeah, man, totally crazy.
What else do you have in your notes there? Anything you really wanted to talk about that was relevant? I'm imagining you're on the East Coast, so I don't want to keep you up too late if you have work in the morning.
I do have work in the morning, but it's fine. Let me scroll here. I think I basically covered everything in my notes. Let me do a quick peruse. It's so funny. It's like I see like frozen corn dog up ass, plunger up ass, like on my list. It's like okay, check mark. Yeah, okay. Haircuts covered that. Oh, okay. So the guy who would make the slop,
the mashed potatoes and the meat.
Yes,
that guy. Yeah.
Yes. So he got services because he was like a product of like intergenerational incest, and like he had raped his sister and got put into a program because of it. He was like, I think he was like 17 or 18 and she was like 10 or 11 or something like that.
Okay.
And he was obsessed with Chris Benoit. He would scream, Chris Benoit all the time. Okay. And so he was also a sign dancer at Little Caesars. Okay. Which is hilarious. But one day, this is another disturbing tidbit that stuck with me. Like, so the Today Show was on. This was like, 8 a.m. or something like that. And they were telling a story about this teen girl who had killed herself. And he was watching it, and he turned to me and he was like, well, she's in hell because she killed herself, and I'm going to go to hell, so I'm just going to rape her a whole bunch because it won't matter because I'm already in hell. Like, the fuck?
This is so crazy. This is insane.
Dude, like,
They're living out Daniel Johnston songs in real life about
yes.
like being in electric chairs, meeting the devil, getting raped by ghosts. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I brought clients to the hospital that Daniel Johnston was in. Like when he was like, if you've seen Devil and Daniel Johnston, when after he crashes the plane and he goes into that was one of the 2 state hospitals here. And I've been to that state hospital before. Like it's crazy. Like I'm like, damn, dude, it would have been amazing if I somehow could have crossed paths with that guy. But yeah, obviously not. But
I'm glad he got out of that circle, but it's because his parents took care of him, who live north of Houston.
Exactly.
And I guess if he fell in a ring of these guys, we probably would have never seen any more music from him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, there's people. I mean, that's one reason I had that binder full of like artwork and stuff. Like, you have some of these guys who are in there who, like, under different circumstances. I never saw anyone like as amazing as Daniel Johnston or anything like that. But there were some who like were legitimately like made some pretty cool artwork and stuff where it was like, damn, like if you weren't so busy, trying to bash your own head in or like eat shit, you would like, probably have some sort of career or something.
So you saw some savants where you said these are very talented artists, huh?
Yeah. There were some. Yeah, not very
I don't
much.
really have a problem with this program, by the way. The problem I have with the program is it's not designed to liberate you from the program. It's not designed it's designed to make you as institutionalized as possible. It's a program that says there are no more solutions to this. This is just where they put the people. And that is just, it's like saying, hey, how about you go to prison forever and you never get out?
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like, I mean, it's in a weird spot because it's like, what do you do? Like, I don't really have the answer to how you fix it, but yeah, it's like, it has to exist in some form. And I don't know. It's like oversight's impossible because, like I said, like I was over 150 staff over, such a huge area. So yeah, it's bizarre.
Well,
need some sort of reform or something.
Well, if there's any other parting thought or anything you want to promote or anything you left off your list, you feel free. I don't have to go now. I'm just
No, I'm good. I don't have anything. Like I said, I don't have anything to promote. Oh, the only thing.
This is his ad, by the way. Danny San Francisco at Danny San Franny. This is him. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. The only thing I would say is to circle back to the very beginning. The David McGowan books.
Oh yes,
The Ultimate Evil by Maury Terry. I the Chicken Hawk. Check it out. You need to check it out. The Laurel Canyon book by David McGowan. Chaos by Tom O'Neill. Check those books out and start seeing what's actually going on, man.
No, you're right.
Crazy.
Don't even ironically say it. This is what's going on. And by the way, even if it's not going on, it's going to offer some insight into your own psyche and how you run from your own pain and how you compartmentalize it all and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a mirror to your own evil.
Exactly. But that's it. That's all I gotta say.
Well, thank you, buddy.
No problem, Ben. Appreciate it, bud. Keep doing your thing.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Okay, I'm gonna hang up. Peace.
All right, bud. See you, bud.
Wow, a guy like that, such an insanely funny, liked his voice and everything. I wanted to say I love you at the end of the call. What a great first guest. That was a shot in the dark. He ended up being amazing. This is him. Please go follow him. It's Danny San Francisco, Danny San Franny. From me, he earns a follow. That was some amazing, amazing work there. Amazing, amazing work.
My chain. Don't you like my chain?